2024 is an important year for me. In June, I will be 5 years sober, and September marks 2 years since my official autism diagnosis. These two things hold immense significance in my personal life, and today I want to talk to you about it while I paint, to explain how my late diagnosis has affected me and why I questioned the future of my YouTube channel and almost quit. When I launched my channel a little under 4 years ago, I didn't know I was autistic. I had struggled with mental health issues throughout my life. In a work capacity, I usually underperformed, and in social settings, I just wanted to run and hide. In 2022, I was formally diagnosed with ASD, Autism Spectrum Disorder, but the huge relief I had anticipated feeling happened only for a fleeting moment. Instead, I felt something switch in my brain that told me that I was in for a really rough ride. I need to point out that this is just my experience, and it doesn't necessarily happen to all people that are late diagnosed. Working in social media is tough for anybody, involving long hours at the very start, often unpaid, and there will always be people cheering you on and fighting your corner. Conversely, there will always be people putting you down and crushing your confidence. Many autistic people, along with other neurodivergent folk, can suffer with RSD, which is rejection sensitive dysphoria. This condition can cause severe emotional pain, even from a perceived criticism, and for me, it presents in such a profound, debilitating way that I had to question if I could continue working, because recovery from negative comments that I rarely received could often take days or even longer to recover from. Examples of this would be something like, I would be talking too fast or too slow, comments like incorrect pronunciation, or is that pronunciation? My choice of music, my choice of clothing have also been questioned, and I've even been told to remove a video and criticised for promoting products. Not only was this upsetting, but I felt it was trying to discredit me as an artist, a job that I have worked so very, very hard for. Simply not letting them get to me isn't possible. I can't help it, I have no control. It's part of my disability. But these comments are rare, and I'm forever grateful to my community who have shown me much love and support. Perhaps you're thinking, well, why not just give up if it bothers you that much? And to those people I would say, would you be able to walk away from something that you have put your heart and soul into? And let me be clear, autism is a disability. So for me, I try to minimise my emotional pain by removing the negative comments to protect my mental health. And it is this unspoken boundary that has stopped me from quitting. There's a lot of buzz around ASD in social media at the moment, declaring that everybody is a little bit autistic. There is undoubtedly a crossover between many autistic traits, as they are indeed human traits, but it is the way that we experience them, and to the degree that it bothers us, which sets us apart. Grief was one of the emotions I felt very deeply after my late diagnosis. I was grieving for the lost years where I felt that I could have had help instead of being isolated and punished. Autistic people often mask around other people. This is a way of protecting ourselves, and it is done either subconsciously or consciously. In therapy, we are told to unmask when safe to do so, but I didn't know I was masking, and so how could I know what the unmasked version of myself was, let alone when it was safe to do so? In September last year, I had to make a trip. It was a short stay away from home that would inevitably be hard for me, not least since I was living a reclusive lifestyle and I had severe anxiety disorder. But I've also developed agoraphobia at this point, and my world had become very still and very small. My mood was low and I was frightened to leave the house. And it was while unmasking and asking for help, wearing my disability lanyard, that I was verbally abused, which ended up in a full-grown asked woman having an autistic meltdown in a public place, which was not only embarrassing but scary. Around that time, my very close friend had passed away suddenly, and I was grieving his loss. I didn't have my alcoholic crutch anymore. So instead of picking myself up, I ran and I hid. I was frozen, I was stuck, I was lost and afraid of what would happen to me. And it was at this point that I broke. Why am I sharing this with you now? Because April is Autism Awareness Month and the time seems right. I'm not telling you this because I want pity, far from it. I'm not telling you because I want to silence constructive feedback. I'm telling you because I want you to know the struggle and effort and difficulties that autistic people can encounter. Nowadays, I'm pacing myself much better. I'm resting when I need to and taking time away from social media and not being readily available during every single waking hour, but being there, fully present when needed. I'm afraid I'm not very good with words, but because it's Autism Awareness Month, I want to mention my friend Sarah Northwood, who has written this book. Sarah so eloquently describes her experiences as a late diagnosed autistic woman, and I wanted to share this with you here, and I will link it in the comments if you want to have a better understanding of our world. Thank you for listening today as I've painted this flower. I've chosen to paint the cosmos because it symbolises peace and harmony. I think it's something that we all need in our lives.